All right. Here we are back on the Foul Ball podcast to talk about more Patriots football. So I know we're a couple days behind, but as a lot of folks around the country were, I was also celebrating Thanksgiving. Went down to Florida, which was a great time. Thank you for asking, and all was well. And so, as we know, the Patriots, along with a few other teams, played football on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. And it was rather interesting, right? So we had the 8:20 game against the Minnesota Vikings, a game in which was back and forth. It is definitely more so I would consider it an offensive game. Some defensive stuff happened, but more so it was definitely in terms of football games, it was definitely a little bit of a high scoring game, which is good. It was exciting till the very end. If you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, it was a game in which the Patriots could have won, game in which the Patriots should have won, and it's a game that the Patriots ended up not winning. And so it was a pivotal game that would really transformed, I think, the season for the Patriots. Transformation which would have been a positive one, right? It would have helped them out within the wild card standings in order to gain like a better spot for like a potential playoff game, right? In terms of the division, when you look at like the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Buffalo Bills. Speaking of the Buffalo Bills, I'll quickly mention this now. We have another game against them on Thursday. It's going to be the Thursday night football game. I believe if you want to watch it, it should be on ESPN, which is good because I know if you're a person like I am and have the Disney bundle, you have the ESPN Plus, which I am thankful I'm going to be able to watch it because I'm finishing up grad school here in North Carolina. And so a lot of folks are going to be able to watch it. And actually, the importance of the Buffalo Bills game, the upcoming Buffalo Bills game this coming Thursday, is going to be crucial. Like if the Patriots don't win this, this could basically seal a deal for probably not making the playoffs. Like this could be that big. And so I know even Bill Belichick has kind of the big mantra that he tells people, like the people referring to the players, and a lot of the players have now become coaches, and these players that become coaches now tell their players that from Thanksgiving on is when you really start playing football, right? Everything before Thanksgiving is kind of the groundwork for the remainder of the season. So pre-Thanksgiving is that groundwork. After Thanksgiving is really when you use the groundwork that you've put in for so long and really elevate that to the next level. And we're really seeing this right now because currently the Patriots are 6-5. Granted, they have a winning record, but we've got to remember the division they're in is good this year. For quite a long time, we always remember seeing the Patriots at the tippity top, and the other teams not even remotely close to being able to catch up to them. Right? The Jets, the Dolphins, the Bills. We always remember them like having losing records, having these horrendous records. Wow, the Patriots are like 7-3 or 8-2 or this crazy record where they barely even lose, and we knew at this point that getting into the playoffs just wasn't even a question, right? We just didn't need to worry about it. But now the Patriots are on the other side of that, where it's just different, right? And so the Bills game this upcoming Thursday is going to be huge on so many levels, more than just one. But the main focus is really the playoffs at the end of the day, and that playoff picture and making that a much clearer image for the next several weeks. And I know this part of the season is a time when we really start kind of playing divisional rivals, and it really starts now. And the Patriots do know very well that that a win is needed, and they're really focusing on that this week, at least in practice. At least I hope so. At least that's what they said. They said at the beginning of the week that was their primary focus, was just focus on I think Bill Belichick's focus every week is focusing on the next team, the next game. They just take it one game at a time. And obviously, he knows very well in the back of his head that this is a must-need win. So, to tie it back into the Vikings game a little bit. So, like I said, it was back and forth. And, it was one of those games where we needed to win it, right? First quarter, Patriots were ahead 10-7. And then second quarter, the Patriots got 6 points. Minnesota got 9. Third quarter, we scored another 10. They scored another 7. And then fourth quarter is when we just couldn't do anything offensively, really. We couldn't really get any stops defensively and lost the game towards the end. And now the Vikings are 9-2. It was one of those things going into the game where we knew it was going to be tough, right? The Vikings are looking fairly decent this year, which is interesting to say, which is fine. I mean, it's just the NFL being the NFL, where the draft, I think, is somewhat working to an interesting level. And the Vikings are doing, like I said, fairly decent, where the Patriots are 6-5. And so, if we look at the Patriots roster in terms of passing, Mac Jones went 28 for 39, threw for 382 yards, threw 2 touchdowns. Rushing, people for the rushing game was Stevenson, Harris, and Bourne. Well, Bourne had 1 carry for -7 yards and averaged to -7 yards. So that doesn't help anybody. Parker had 4 receptions for 80 yards. And then Aguilar had 6 receptions for 65 yards, averaged 10.8 yards per reception, and scored a touchdown. Henry had 3 receptions for 63 yards. He averaged 21 yards a carry, or at least catch anyway, and scored a touchdown. So those were the 2 reception touchdowns. And those were really kind of the 2 touchdowns at the end of the day for the Patriots. Jones had an interception. Duger had 8 tackles, 1 assist. Jones had 6 tackles. Devin McCourty had 4 tackles. Wise had 4 tackles. Phillips 4. Nothing, I feel like, for me really pops out, right? Nothing says, oh my goodness, this is like a must-need talk about deal. And so that just needs to change. Usually a couple things happen where it just makes sense. And so going forward, we need a lot more of that. We need a lot of just people really stepping up to that plate. So we talked about the Vikings. We talked about the upcoming Bills game, and that's all I've got for the moment. Something needs to change. I feel like the energy is on for a tiny bit and then very quickly shut down. It very quickly turns off. So, big game Thursday. We're moving on to the Buffalo Bills.